It's Monday, July 21st. This is Scouting the League. It is a big week in the football world. Not only do NFL training camps really ramp up, aspiring NFL agents are sitting down to take the NFL agent exam. Our friend and co-host of the podcast, Neil Stratton, has been busy doing everything he can to help prepare this next wave of agents for the exam. But unfortunately, the numbers bear out that it will be a tough one to pass. InsideTheLeague.com is the best and only source you need to make sure you are ready to take that agent exam, whether it's this time, next time, into the future. InsideTheLeague.com is that spot. Make sure you check out Neil's Friday wrap for all the details on that agent exam. But I just want to say quick to everybody taking the exam, good luck. And if you pass, let the real work begin. I will be ready to help walk you through what a scout is doing, everything you need to know about evaluating football, really get you through your first year. It's something I've been doing, something I really enjoy doing. Check me out at RightStepADV or check out my football, the website, rsafootball.com, for more information. Speaking of that, make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing this podcast wherever you are watching and listening, whether you are at our home over at profootballinsiders.com, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. If you like that video portion, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing it with a friend. If you love ball, and I know most of you out there have some friends that love ball, let them listen, let them know about this podcast and get hooked up with all you need to know. For scouts on the road, listen, we're going to have some stuff for you guys throughout the year, aspiring scouts, you as well. Make sure you're also checking out the scoutingcommunity.com, the non-union, union source for all scouts, where we will work together to make the scouting world better. If there is a question, we will help you answer it. Your fall is about to get busy. The last thing you need to worry about is some of those elements that the scouting community is going to help you with. Let us, make a quick bridge to get a question answered. That's all going to be at thescoutingcommunity.com. Go check that out. And like I said, for aspiring scouts, get to know the landscape before you want to get into it next year. Do the right things now to make sure you are ready to be an NFL scout. Again, follow Neil at InsideTheLeague.com and follow our home over at pro_FB_insiders as well. NFL training camps. Lots of variation this time of year with these, but it is when vets and rookies really get going. Scouts, pro scouts are usually in the building a couple days early. Sometimes it's about the same time of year. Rookies have probably been doing something for most of this vacation time. Really no slowdown for rookies since about December. But again, that's all part of being a rookie. Vets, rookies do get together at different times for the most part, but some will get together. Let's take a run around the league, see who is where. Have to start with the Hall of Fame game, Lions and Chargers. As you would expect, again, you got that extra game, that extra preseason game. You're going to have extra time. For the Chargers, certainly the case. They reported on July 12th. For rookies, vets reported July 16th, so they are heading in on that day, really ready to get going. The Lions are a little bit more normal. Rookies on the 16th, vets on the 19th. Again, that's probably a little bit more of a veteran team, a little bit more of established culture as the Chargers kind of continue to get theirs established, grab those few extra practice days. For the rest of the NFL rookie report dates, we've got the Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Giants, 49ers, and Seahawks getting together on the 15th. The Broncos on the 16th. The Raiders on the 17th. On the 18th, then we get the rookies for the Browns, Packers, and Commanders. On the 19th, the Bears, Bengals, Jaguars, Patriots, and Jets. On the 20th, the Vikings. And then on the 21st, the Panthers, Buccaneers, and Colts rookies get in the building. On the 21st, both the vets and the rookies get into the building for the Cowboys, Chiefs, Saints, and Eagles. Every one of these teams we just talked about, if we didn't know it otherwise, vets are getting in on the 22nd. Again, that's the majority of the NFL. The 22nd, veterans are getting in the building. They're probably around the building, maybe a little bit on the 21st, or maybe checking stuff. But again, really getting going on the 22nd. Both rookies and vets for the Cardinals, Texans, Rams, and Titans on the 22nd. And then our last two teams for the Falcons and Steelers, both rookies and veterans getting together on the 23rd. Again, there are a number of practices, off days, travel days, all that's going to affect when a team wants to start. Certainly limits within that CBA that are going to dictate when everything happens. Again, as we talked about last week with team philosophy, what's our philosophy going to be? What is the age of our team? How many rookies we having to get ready? Again, number of factors are going to dictate when a team is starting. Again, for a team like the Falcons, a little surprising they're starting so late. For the Steelers, you got a bunch of veteran pieces coming together. Mike Tomlin's going to pull those strings without question. Again, you've got a lot of teams across the NFL doing things a lot of different ways. So, again, your team will be ready to go without question by the 23rd, hitting the field. If you're in one of your NFL cities heading out to check out practice, if they have open practices, always fun to do that. As we focus on camp time, this is always when you want to start focusing in on the major storylines, start to track what trends may be coming. And I would always say from a scouting perspective, again, kind of think about the rosters. You've looked at your rosters. If you thought about the players that were drafted, players that were signed in free agencies, coaching changes, all of them to keep things an eye on. Again, major media sources, Patrick Mahomes being overweight, ignore that kind of stuff. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback one in the NFL still, that's not changing. Again, ignore some of that information. Think about some of the behind the scenes stuff, just like we talked about with college scouting, background scouting, character scouting. Read between the lines. Think about the elements that will make or break a team. Again, Pittsburgh has got to be the number one storyline team for this offseason, getting into the preseason. Again, and let's not even start it on the field. Omar Khan, GM, getting a new contract. Does he continue to shake stuff out? Again, this is the time of year when you start to see, all right, scouting changes haven't necessarily been publicized. What does it actually look like as those scouts get out on the road? Veterans, fantastic scouting staff. What's changed, though? What are they doing different? What are they doing the same? Read between the lines. Listen to who's talking, what sources you're hearing from that place. Again, Omar Khan's new deal certainly could change some things. Again, beyond that, obviously, you got DK, you got Rodgers, you got TJ Watt. You got a bunch of player situations that, again, just keep an eye on it. Again, how does Aaron look? Aaron has not looked the way NFL fans, football fans, scouts have expected him over the year. Does he get it back to where the Steelers are hoping is? DK, I'm sure he's going to hit the round running, and then TJ may be the best defensive player in the league. Myles Garrett, maybe you have a conversation with him, but again, I expect TJ Watt to be there, sign a new contract here at some point, and play really good. Again, you've also got arguably the best head coach in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin does a fantastic job, the exact right guy in Pittsburgh for a long time. Again, he doesn't have an easy situation. You got a veteran quarterback who is not afraid to ruffle some feathers of his head coach. You've got DK, who is a big personality. Everything to deal with Mike Tomlin. Again, how does he deal with it? Do we see a different Mike Tomlin than we saw last year, 2 years ago? Everything a little bit more settled with that coaching staff. Arthur Smith there on the offensive side. So again, a lot to pay attention to in Pittsburgh for sure. Chicago, expectations, a loaded division. Again, there's going to be a lot of storylines about high expectations for this team. Can they temper those? Can they pat them down? Again, you do have a lot of new pieces that are going to have to fit right. So again, pay attention to how that cohesion is. Pay attention to how everything starts to shake out. San Francisco, Brock Purdy, new contract. You've got Jawan Jennings wanting a new contract. You've got defense back where Kyle wants it with the defensive coordinator back. San Francisco has some really fun storylines. A team that I really think I expect them to get back to where they were maybe 2-3 years ago, really at the top of the NFC. You've got Sam Darnold. Can he repeat his performance in Seattle, or was it a flash in the pan last year in Minnesota? You've got a team that's going to be really defensive focused, but Sam, can he get them over the hump there? The Jets, again, you've got another quarterback situation. Is it Justin Fields to take over, or are we going to see changes, and are we going to see some unique stuff coming out of New York? Staying in New York with the Giants, what Russell Wilson do you get? Do they have enough talent around him? Again, for Joe Shane, for Brian Daboll, again, a tough situation. Again, this is one of those ones where you hate to say it as a scout, but this is going to be a huge first half of the year, a huge first quarter of the year for everybody in that building, for for the GM, for the head coach, and obviously the trickle down that happens beyond that. Again, the start for the New York Giants is going to be so important to watch. You've got to see pieces play the way they expect them. The free agent moves, the draft moves, you've got to see some pieces in place if the Maras want to keep that group around. You've also got Mike Vrabel return to New England. A lot of really fun pieces there. Again, I'm excited to see Mike Vrabel again, one of the best in the business, in my opinion, is going to have a really fun time in New England. I think that's going to be a really fun spot to watch. We've got Travis Hunter down in Jacksonville. How are they utilizing him? What are we going to see during training camp? I don't imagine we see him during preseason. Again, a really fun situation in Jacksonville to keep an eye on and see how all those pieces. I mean, we've got expectations in Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, Detroit. Again, we don't even need to worry about them right now. However they start, however they look during preseason, they're going to be where they need to be come middle and end of the year. Again, we're just going to wait and see if they meet their expectations. Bengals and Cowboys, can they get back to where we expect these teams to be? For quieter off seasons, Packers, Texans, Buccaneers, that's probably welcome. Teams that were really in the headlines last off season. Again, probably nice to be a little bit quieter right now and just kind of ride into the season. And then you've got teams that are kind of wild cards, New Orleans Saints, Indianapolis Colts. Again, that's kind of one, hey, let's just watch and see where it goes, and we can kind of, pinpoint and dive in and ask questions as they pop up. Just like scouting character on the road, take time to read between the lines. Hear what is really being said. Headlines are rarely the story. Reading and listening is key. Draw your own conclusions. Do your own research. Read the more obscure headlines, more the obscure stories of the local reporters that maybe have something that the big headlines don't have. Again, that's where you're going to get your real story. And then, like I said, draw your own conclusions. Buckle up. Football is just about here. The storylines are definitely going to be ramping up. And we haven't even talked about the college season starting. So really going to be fun. Get ready for the scouting season to really rock and roll. Before we go, let me remind you, follow me at RightStepADV. Hit me up, questions, comments, thoughts, questions on any of these storylines, players to watch, anything you got, hit me up. Follow Neil as well at Inside the League. Follow our new home, Pro Football Insiders. They are pro_FB_insiders on X. Make sure you're having fun with everything you're doing. It's still football at the end of the day. Have fun doing it and have fun scouting.